Oh, and then this. Wow.
What was it?
What a great start. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. Not quite the start I imagined, but we're going to get there. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Thank you for inviting me. And I want to start with a question for you. We're a room full of creative people. Everybody's creative. Do you ever feel like you're not creating enough? Show hands. Oh, look at that. I was expecting that, actually. I feel like that myself as well, a lot. And today I hope to release you a little bit of that burden. So I'm going to tell you about it soon, but first let me introduce myself a little bit. I'm Bart. I live in Rotterdam in this iconic cube house in the center, together with my wife and our famously sitting cat always on the same spot. And my daughter, who's 1 year old. She's still in the belly here. You cannot, it's hidden there. And besides being a husband and a father, I'm also a creative director of TodayTomorrow. And TodayTomorrow is a digital design agency, and we create digital products. So digital products like websites, apps, basically anything that has an interface we love to put our hands on. I have some colleagues here walking around as well. So we create this kind of things. Anything that has an interface and connects with wearables and all those things. And it's from medical to sports. We always say we design for healthy technology. And healthy technology means we design products that basically improve quality of life of people, from sports to medical. But also we like to think about how we can design healthy technology for the technology itself. So how can it be ethical, sustainable, inclusive? So we make sure we create something that's not waste, because we have a lot of waste already. And when we create digital products, these are the things we basically touch. And not all of them we design, but I think that these are the most important pillars which digital products lean on. So first off, you have a purpose, right? It's the reason of existence. Why is the product actually there? What does it need to do? Should it be there? Maybe there's something else already that does the job. Secondly, it's a business, so it should be sustainable. What's the financial module behind it? What's the business model? What's the cost structure? How are you going to make revenue? Especially creative people don't like to think about this too much, but it's very important though. And then you have the experience itself. So how do you interact with that?
Oh, als je hem heel erg dicht bij je mond houdt, dan kan hij veel zachter, dan ben je er vanaf.
Oeh.
Dat is de truc.
That's so can somebody put it softer then? Because this is intense for everyone. You're a professional. Good thing you're sitting in the front row. Yeah? Is this better? Yeah. Oh, this feels much better for me as well. Thank you. Thank you. So we're experience. The middle pillar. It's all about how you actually interact with that product. So it's all about user behavior, really understanding your target audience. How can you create that spot in their daily life to make sure you are useful to them? So it's about user research. It's about creating a journey. It's a theme. I put it in there. And also about actually designing the whole experience. And then you have the technology, because you can design as much as you want, but once it's not in code, there's no digital product, right? So the actual code makes it exist. And that's something we forget sometimes, especially as designers, that you have to work hand in hand with developers to make the magic. So that's all about actually creating. And then there's identity. And identity is all about who's the messenger. So we want to show a face behind all this. So you have a purpose, but also you need to have a face to tell it. So it's It's more about branding, marketing, all those kind of things. So what's very popular now, especially with startups, is that they focus on these pillars. It's the whole MVP thinking. So create a minimal viable product and bring it to market. And they focus on creating a business model and build the technology behind it. And then you have enough to throw it into the world. I'm not a big fan of this because, yes, it works for a while. But once you have competition on identity, the whole thing might collapse. And also, what are you actually creating? I think you have to look at the whole thing. So that's all about digital products. But today with you, I want to focus on this part because I think that's the most fun. And it's my talk, so I'm going to do it anyways. So purpose. Purpose is a heavyweight word, right? There's a lot of things behind it. So I think nowadays a lot of designers struggle with this maybe as well. It's all about being meaningful, being ethical, social design, creating impact. You hear that a lot. But it's, for me, I always find this a bit uncomfortable because I don't always know what is meant by impact. So for this talk, I try to look what it means for me and how I incorporate that into my work. And for me, purpose is all about intention. This is a photo of my wife I took when she was meditating. She used to be a yoga and meditation teacher, has her own, have her own studio. She actually did a CreativeMornings talk during Corona, right? Yeah. She taught me intention. So every time I was in her class, she started the class with, you setting your intention. Could be small, could be big, but what do you want to achieve? What do you want? Where do you want to go with this? And for me, that's a great starting point for design, because I think if you compare these two terms, impact versus intention, then impact is all about the ending, right? You want to strive for something, and you set a big goal and you have to go there. Whereas intention is actually about getting started. And as a creative, like getting started is one of the hardest things I find. Maybe ending as well, actually. But yeah, if you don't start, you don't get to the end anyways. So that's what I like about intention. And what I also like about it is it turns you more inwards, where impact is all about what's around me and what the impact I want to make on others, whereas intention starts with you. What is my role in this, and how do I influence my surroundings? And then impact is all about the what. So I want to reduce climate emissions, carbon emissions, whereas why is more about I want to stop climate change. Whoa. What's happening there? Whoa. No!
Start clapping.
Start the button was stuck. There I was. And what impact? It often disappoints, right? Because you set a bar and you probably won't reach it. I mean, for me, that's always, as a designer, I always set the bar way too high, and I'm always disappointed when I'm there. Whereas intention, you win from the start, right? You set the intention, and you see where it goes. This doesn't mean that you should sell intention to your clients, because I think they want results. They don't want intention. Let's talk about a case so I can further explain this. This is Q2Walk. Q2Walk is a bunch of guys who are product designers, and they created this band that you put on your legs. It's for people with Parkinson to overcome freezing of gait. Freezing of gait is when you start walking and suddenly you have a freeze of gait, you are stuck to the ground, and you can everybody still hear me? I feel, yeah. You're stuck to the ground or you fall over. So it's a real burden. It has a huge impact on the daily lives of people with Parkinson. And not just physically, but also mentally, because you literally feel stuck in your own body. You cannot move anymore. And these guys had a great solution for this. Very simple, practical solution. They put a band around your leg with vibrations, and it helps you to overcome that freezing of gait. And I think in 70% or 80% of the cases, it actually works if you're in the right phase of your illness. And their mission was to create freedom of movement for these people. And when we start designing this, it was just very complex. Like, these are the amount of screens we actually created. Because what they wanted to do was to give give people with Parkinson more insights about their progression. So give them a lot of data, do a lot of gamification elements in there. And the more we tested, the more we realized these people are not waiting for this. They don't want another interface to look at. They just want something that helps them, look into the world and go to the supermarket, buy their own stuff, get their own coffee. So instead of focusing on like showing results, which is actually also, Parkinson is a progression disease, so show progress is also a bit difficult. So we wanted to do, we set the intention basically to create radical simplicity and just create a very simple interface. And all those other interfaces are still in there, but they're step by step. So there's always one decision at a time. There's huge buttons with huge text, because these people, they're mentally and physically challenged. They're often elderly. So we really had to give them something that works for them. And yet I find that we created something very elegant, very warm, and very easy to use. And eventually you do this whole onboarding and you just end up with this screen, just 3 buttons, and do some settings, go practice, and for the rest just enjoy your freedom of movement. Another project. These were 2 girls, Olga and Lotte, who came to us, and they had this mission to promote intuitive parenthood from the very beginning. And from the very beginning, I mean when the baby is still in the belly. All the young adults or young parents might know that the first 1,000 days of your kid is super important. And it actually starts in the belly. So you can read to them, you can sing to them, and that actually has an influence on how they develop as a kid. And they had all this research done, all this work. They did a lot of co-creation with parents, and they basically wanted to put that in practice. And they had all this content, so there was a lot of knowledge that they just want to tell them, like, you should read this and read that. But then we came to this problem: how can we make this inclusive enough? Because a lot of people that are well educated, they find it very easy to find this information and educate themselves on parenthood, whereas actually people that are less educated have a harder problem finding this information. So instead of making a very big platform with a lot of content, we just reduced it to design the phone away, basically. We wanted to make them look at the screen as least as possible, so we created audio lessons. So you just grab a lesson, you listen to it, you put your phone away, so you can actually have the attention to your belly. You can actually hold your belly while consuming this information. And that was just by the simple fact that we wanted to design for attention, to focus on the information. And that means also the illustrations that we've used, they're not to distract but they only set a mood. So we did illustrations with Nick Liefhebber, Nick Liefhebber? Yeah, Nick Liefhebber. And he created these fantastic illustrations that really shows sort of a universe. It really feels like you're inside the womb maybe, or maybe that when you close your eyes you have all these different lights. So they have these different themes, and they really set a mood without explaining too much. So these were some examples. Now I want you to make a spiritual journey. And this is going to be a bit awkward. It's also going to be new for me, but we're going to do it anyways. I want you all to close your eyes. And if you don't want to close your eyes, that's fine. You can just maybe look into your lap or gaze in the far distance. And imagine yourself, you're on the brink of creating something. Where are you? Maybe you are behind your desk, perhaps in a workshop. Are there people there? Are you surrounded by others? Or are you alone? What are you working on? What is it? And how do you work? Are you using your hands? Are you using your mind? How do you feel? Perhaps you feel excited or stressed or anxious. Do you feel like an imposter? Or maybe you feel proud. Now, take a small moment. What is your heartfelt intention? And don't think about it too long. Whatever pops to mind is perfect. Now, take a small moment to repeat this intention to yourself 3 times and state it as if it is already true. You can open your eyes now. Thanks, everyone. This was my talk. I made it a bit shorter so we run in time. Is that okay?
I drifted off just now. So
Okay.
I was so in it. Q&A. I'm not going to dare to change laptops again.
No.
For a little bit. Q&A for our president.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I actually have one question because thanks for the talk, by the way. It's very, very
You're welcome.
inspirational. I was wondering, so he said I can't sell intention to language, makes a lot of sense. But do you mention intention with the client, and in what way do you do it?
Good question. So his question is, you're not selling intention to a client, but do you communicate it in a way, right?
How do you do that?
Yeah, and how do you do it? It's a good question. I think I don't do it intentionally, but I think I do it. And I think that always works. If you know why it works for you, you always give that energy to a client, so they often go for it. That also means that if your proposal doesn't work, maybe your intention wasn't right from the start. So that also means maybe sometimes it's not the right client for you. That's also sometimes the case. Also, sometimes, hi. Is that yours? No. No? Yeah, so does that answer your question?
Yeah,
Yep.
I think so. But I think it's because intention is quite, what's the right word, aanstekelijk.
Yeah. Um,
Contagious.
contagious. Yeah, that's right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think also like clients love the energy that you bring like along.
Definitely.
So like when you mentioned intention, I was like, it's there all the time.
Yeah.
Just like haven't put a finger on what it exactly is. You did it quite well.
Thank you.
So, yeah, it's all about energy.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think when working on something, when you found that intention, which is not always there from the start, but then translated into, yeah, basically a mission, and it's often already something that you can communicate to your client, I think.
Yeah, maybe a follow-up question on that. How do you define that with the client? Do you have like a workshop or a session? How do you
Yeah.
come to this result that you want to work with?
Yeah, we always want a sort of a way to do it, right? A ready to go. Well, the way we always do it is basically sit down with our clients for a first session. And every client requires a bit of a different approach. We have a lot of tools that we use, a lot of post-its often. And what always works is let clients think about what they want to achieve, not just on a short term because they always have year plans or whatever. No, just like where do you want to go in 3 years, or how would it look like if the company was yours, and let them all write it down separately and have a discussion about it. Basically, you just want to create a space where they feel they can say anything and share ideas. Yes.
So in the process of finding an intention, if multiple ideas for intentions come up, how do you decide which one to go for, or can you do multiple ones?
So your question is, when you have more ideas about intention, which one do you choose? This is a burden a lot of creatives have as well. I think you have too many ideas and you work with that. I think with intention, it's a bit different. It's so deep, you probably know which one you feel best with. If you don't know, maybe close your eyes and think about it. At least that's how it works for me. And I'm not saying I'm always sitting down with my eyes closed before every client. Just think, what's my intention? Actually, it's just because of this talk that I really started thinking about it. How does it work for me? I think this was always a bit of an unconscious process. But you could also say that intention is basically the essence of your project. And there can only be one essence. There cannot be multiple. If there's multiple, you probably have to dig deeper. Sorry. Yes?
How far in the process do you come to that intention? Because I guess you have to understand your client, you have to understand the project, you have to understand the purpose.
Good question. How far do you go with this intention? How much, basically your question is, how much do you have to research before you can be comfortable with an intention? You touch something that's I feel uncomfortable with, because I don't think I always do enough research. I do as much research until I find something that just gives me an insight and think, I have a hook here, and then I test it. I start testing with people, with the target audience, to see if it's actually true. But others, like Lisa, for instance, our UX designer, she's very thorough. She wants to know everything before she starts. And Niels is also a bit like this, actually. Does that answer your question? Yeah? Yes, you in the back.
You're talking about intention. Like you're selling to us that, we should be looking at intention, but like with your clients, are you sort of open enough with them to say, well, the impact might not be what you want? Do you let them know that up front, or do you just sell them your intention?
No, I think intention is a tool that helps you sell something that is acceptable for the client. We work for clients, they pay us, so we have to make something that they're happy with. But the challenge sometimes is to make them understand what makes them happy, because they don't always know upfront what they actually want. So I think a lot of designers, working with this burden of helping them understand to overcome this idea that they have. But for us, for instance, they always come to say, we just want an app. Build me an app. How much is an app? and then we tell them, an app can be like €1,000,000, it can be 10,000 euros, and everything in between. It's not about, why do you want an app, and what do you actually want to achieve? And you always have to sort of bring back to the why, basically, why you're doing this. And that helps you to set your own intention, and then help them to understand that they want something different than they expected. But
sort of work on their intention, you're sort of refining their intention, and then you know what the impact is going to be with different intentions?
No, I think an intention is personal, so I cannot make their intention. I can talk about their mission, I can talk about their branding, how they communicate. I can help them maybe to sort of formulate an intention, but I think it's more intention I use to create the work for my clients, and it's basically backstage work that the clients don't see, but the energy is there to communicate to them. So probably they will see it in the designs, and they see the designs, and I can explain them why the designs look like this, or I can tell them we should create this kind of functionality because blah 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 blah. It's just a way for me to have leverage to actually explain the work I do. A lot of words. Does that answer your question? No, really. No. Let's continue with this.
Now, like the impact, like it's sort of, you sold us that it's going to be your win straight away. You're starting, you've got your intention.
Yeah.
Or the client's got an intention. And then the impact, you're going to be losing no matter what. So you sort of give them a heads up, well then it might not be what you want. So you sort of give them a heads up that, you sort of
No.
goal.
No, you don't give them a heads up. No. No, because they walk away. Yeah. You want an app? We're not going to make you an app, but you'll be happy. No, that's not going to work. No, it's just involve them in the process, and let them show every step on the way, and then they understand. As long as you keep your intention straight, then they will follow you. Once you start moving like this, then they will lose you. Yeah. You. Oh.
I'm also a UX designer, so I really love to your presentation. Thanks for the talk. I might have an unpopular question.
Oh yes. Unpopular question, guys.
Now we have intention, and we also talk about impact. How do you measure impact in the creative world? Because by default, the business will measure the money, the business impact it brings. We mentioned about like positive change, inclusivity. How do you measure it? And I guess that's something the clients want to hear as well. So I wonder if you have any experience in that.
Yeah. So for those who didn't understand or heard, you're asking basically how do you measure the impact that you set with your intention, basically. The measure question, always a difficult one. We want to measure things because we are looking for security, for safety. And the honest question is, sometimes we will measure things to convince that it works, but you actually don't know upfront if it's going to work. Because creative work it's basically playful research, right? You start doing things and you you find on the way whether it works or doesn't work, and you feel when it works. But I understand your question, because the client is not going to go for that, right? They're not like, yeah, okay, I'm not going to pay you to play. I just want results. And I think for this, like measuring impact, I don't think we've done it in a way that we've like hard measurements, but we do a lot of user testing. So also there, before starting the user test, you want to set the goal, like what do we want to test? And how do we make sure that that we have the results? But we do a lot of user testing just qualitatively. So we do 7, 8, 9, 10 interviews, and we look at them. We look at the people using the product, and then gather insights. And the real measurement starts when we actually deliver the project to our clients, and they publish it, and it's in the world. And often then with a lot of metrics, like analytics, you will see whether it works or it didn't. But often it works.
I thank you very much, but I need to go.
Yeah, go ahead. It's free. Anybody else wants to go? Don't go all at once.
Got time
Yes.
for 2 more questions. These 2.
I really like what you're saying. It really resonates with this whole process of designing and helping people understand their problem and also what they want.
Yeah.
Do you also have that this intention helps you personally focus, like you said at the backstage? But sometimes during the process you discover something, like from testing or from an idea that comes up, that you pivot.
Yeah.
What makes you pivot this whole intention?
Yeah. So can you pivot attention, basically? So things might change. You get new results from working on things. You've done more research, and all of a sudden you think, hey, that's something new. You can do that. I think it's all about creating the process for yourself and keep the energy alive, basically, and also there involve the client in that energy. And intention is just a way to formulate it, and it can change along the way, I think.
One extra.
Yes?
Third one is that,
Small one.
as you said backstage, is it only for you personal or is it for you and the team versus the
Mm.
client?
Yeah, I think it's for the team as well, and sometimes the client as well, if the relation is that close. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Last question. Make it good. Make it count.
No pressure.
Is intention your passion that you need in order to build trust with the client?
Sorry.
Is intention like the passion you need in order to build trust with the client?
Is intention the passion you need in order to be trusted by the client?
To build trust.
Oh, to build trust. Yeah, I think a client relationship is like any other relationship. You just have to communicate with each other and try to understand each other. And the more you get to know each other, you build trust. And I think intention is a big part of it. It's with love relationship, it's with parenthood, any relationship. So yes, I think you need it. And there's ways around it, but yeah, eventually you won't be happy.
Nice. Now I'd like to say, let's give Bart a round of applause.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
It'll be a word mark start.
I thought it was mine.